Did you know that we have channel memberships now? If you'd like to help support this channel, get some exclusive Kawabana emotes to use in the comments, as well as an exclusive badge by your name, click that join button now to find out more. Every bit of support really helps. Thanks guys. It's not uncommon to hear that movies, TV shows, books, or even video games have correctly predicted something that later happened after their release. In fact, we've even covered rumours just like this on the channel before, such as the video game Myst apparently predicting the Great Hanshin earthquake 2 years before it happened. When you consider the sheer number of media out there, then statistically some of them are going to get things right, simply by pure coincidence. But that, of course, doesn't make it any less unnerving when it happens. And this week, we're going to look at an interesting case of Shin Megami Tensei, perhaps foretelling the future. The Shin Megami Tensei games are a series that doesn't need much introduction. They're set in the near future of Tokyo and you, the protagonist, battle demons in turn-based combat. You can also recruit these demons by talking to them if you don't want to fight them, and even fuse demons to create entirely new ones. There are numerous games in the series, with the most recent one coming out just a few months ago, but for today's mystery, we're looking at the first game that came out in 1992. Shin Megami Tensei released in Japan for the Super Famicom on August 30th, 1992. Developers viewed it as a remake of the original Megami Tensei series, and so development apparently proceeded quite smoothly, considering that they already knew where the story would be going. It was set in Tokyo, and used several real Tokyo locations as settings. For example, you could visit Tokyo Tower, Ginza, the Terminal Echo Building, and the point of this week's video, Inokashira Park. If you're unaware, Inokashira Park is one of the most popular parks in all of Tokyo. The park was given to Tokyo in 1913, and then officially opened on May 1st, 1917. The park has a small petting zoo, an aquarium, a temple dedicated to Benzaiten, and is especially famous for its cherry blossoms in spring, and its large pond in which you can ride boats. There's a famous urban legend associated with this pond that states that if you ride on a boat with your partner, then soon afterwards you will break up. This is because it makes Benzaiten jealous. But that's not all Inokashira Park is famous for. On April 23rd, 1994, a cleaner discovered several body parts in trash bags when cleaning the trash cans at the park. This led to an investigation into what became known as the Inokashira Park dismemberment case, and I've covered this particular incident on the channel before, so I'll leave a link in the comments if you want to go and check it out for more information. But in short, although body parts were found, nobody was ever arrested for the murder, nor was a motive ever discovered. To this day, the case remains unsolved, and because the statute of limitations passed in 2009, even if police did find the killer, they would now be unable to charge them. What made the case so strange, despite the fact no killer or motive was ever found, was that the body parts were cut into even 20cm pieces with an electric saw, and all the blood had been drained. This would require someone highly skilled and trained, meaning likely a doctor or someone in a similar field. There were no signs the body had been beaten before death, nor any trace of drugs either. The case was a riddle wrapped in an enigma, and to this day, nobody knows who did it or why. But how does this relate to Shin Megami Tensei, a game that released just over a year prior? Well, the game starts with a woman telling you, the protagonist, that there has been a murder near Inokashira Park. Did you know that there was a murder at Inokashira Park to the south of the station? It was really bad. And that's it. A seemingly innocent reference in a game about Tokyo being infested with demons and all sorts of bad things. Easy to brush off and forget almost as quickly as you saw it. Except that just over a year later, a very real murder did take place at Inokashira Park. Or, at the very least, was discovered there. And yes, it was really bad, just like was said in the game. Naturally, once news of the incident started to hit the media, Shin Megami Tensei fans remembered that little throwaway line in the game, and suddenly it became a whole lot scarier in hindsight. Almost like the game itself predicted it. Of course, the reference was nothing more than a coincidence, and unless you're the type that believes that games really can predict the future, you're not likely to think of it as anything more than that. But as far as coincidences go, this one is still pretty scary, and it adds to the long list of creepy rumors and Easter eggs that are attached to this series. Did the developers foresee a murder and include it in their game for authenticity? Of course not. But, years later, it certainly became a creepy historical tidbit. But what did you guys think of this one? What other Shin Megami Tensei rumors have you heard over the years? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you again next time.